Hello again, I'm Tripp Rogers, and this is Tripp's Take. I'm not sure if you can really hear it in my voice, but I had a little case of the flu this week. Yeah, it's funny because, I get colds at least one a year. I mean, the worst of the summer colds, right? I mean, they knock you for a loop. You hate it because it's nice and warm. Winter cold, well, you expect it, right? But the flu is just one of those things that when you get it, I mean, it's like somebody hits you in the head with a lead pipe. And I've been lucky because I've only had the flu a few times in my life. I remember the first time I got it was when I was in high school. And it really threw me for a loop because, I started feeling well and I said, okay, let me go do something. And I go to a basketball game and then all of a sudden I'm sick again. And it took me another 3 days to get through it, to get over it again. And so again, you learn every time you have it, but I've been lucky I haven't had the flu that often. The last time I had it was in 2014. And I remember it did, knock me for a loop. I was out of work for a couple of days and weekend was shot too. But this time around, oh boy, they say when you get sick, when you get older, certain things happen or things happen differently. And that was the case this time with me. Now, of course, when you get the flu, you get the chills, you get the fever, and you just feel achy and weak as all get out. And that's kind of what happened with me. Now, the one thing about it that I didn't think I had the flu, but when you start getting your good old Apple Watch and you keep getting high heart rate warnings throughout the night, that's the time you sit there and go, I better get this checked out. And that's what led me to go to the doctor. Of course, again, the first thing you did when I got sick was I took a COVID test. I mean, that's what everybody does these days because you never know. You want to see if it is COVID. Well, it wasn't COVID. So I went to the doctor and they tested me, and yes, I did have flu. Of course, the amazing part is I had a flu shot. I get a flu shot every year. But the thing about it is that the new strain of flu this year, they'll then be able to prevent for next year. And then something else will come. And it'll just, again, there's no win situation. I get my flu shot every year. But, so I am recovering from the flu. Of course, picked a nice couple of days to have the flu because, of course, opening day in baseball. Today is the opening day of the 2025 season. I think it's kind of interesting that the Los Angeles Dodgers are the most prohibitive favorite since the 2002 New York Yankees in terms of winning the World Series title. And the funny thing is, if you take a look at the projected win totals, the Dodgers are 10 games better than their nearest opponent in the National League, the Atlanta Braves. I mean, the Dodgers, boy, they certainly humbled my New York Yankees last fall. And the Dodgers have improved themselves. The Yankees, not so much. And the Yankees, of course, have had some severe pitching injuries. I'm kind of hoping the Pinstripers can do well this year, but I am not holding my breath. While it would be nice to see them go back to the World Series, I don't think it's going to happen. And, of course, all the talk is about Juan Soto and his big contract for the New York Mets. I don't know. I mean, they're still the New York Mets. So I don't know if that's going to help them. But it's opening day, and baseball is back. And then, of course, we turn the page for April. We'll get the Final Four, and we'll also get the Masters. And I always talk about what a great time of year it is in terms of sports. Let's flip the page to another sport, and let's talk a little NFL football. Now, the New York Football Giants have been the laughingstock, especially because of the charades of their GM, Joe Shane, their head coach, Brian Daboll, and, the quarterback issues they have had now for the last couple of years. Daniel Jones was let go this fall in the middle of the season. I mean, when they gave him the contract extension, it was a mistake. And, of course, Saquon Barkley went and won a Super Bowl with the Philadelphia Eagles. And, I'm not bitter The Giants, I don't know if Saquon would have played as well with the Giants because the Giants' offensive line was still terrible. The quarterbacking situation was concerning. Now, the Giants did try to make a play for Matthew Stafford, and it would have been great to get him. But I want no part of the quarterbacks in this year's draft class. I am not saying Cam Ward is not good. I am not saying Shedeur Sanders is not good. I am not saying Jackson Dart is not good. In fact, I like Jackson Dart out of those three. But I don't think it is worth wasting a pick at number 3 on a quarterback because you are in a make or break season. Shane and Dable realize that. They've got to get somebody to stabilize the quarterback room. They've got to have somebody there who, as they say, is a bridge quarterback. You can draft a quarterback, but you got to have somebody who's able to play now. Well, last Friday night, the Giants went and signed Jameis Winston. And Jameis Winston fits the bill as a bridge quarterback. Jameis is not great. Granted, he throws a lot of interceptions, but he's a guy who will stabilize that quarterback room, especially when your only other quarterback was Tommy DeVito. And then, the Giants go out and sign Russell Wilson, the guy who I felt they should have signed last year. Why'd they let him leave without a contract is beyond me. Went to Pittsburgh this year, had a pretty decent run in Pittsburgh. I think he's got some tread left in the tire. I think it's a good signing for the Giants. And I still see people saying they're going to draft Shedeur Sanders at number 3. Why? Now, I'm not saying don't draft a quarterback. They've got to draft somebody who they've got to develop. But you have Russell Wilson on a 1-year deal. You've got Jameis Winston on a 2-year deal. Very cap-friendly, under budget. Get yourself a quarterback you can build the future with. But you've got to have wins now. These two guys will not have a job if the Giants do not win games. They need some players. You need an impact player with your first pick. And it better not be a quarterback who's going to sit on the bench. I really want the Giants to take Travis Hunter. He is the kind of generational talent that could change the paradigm for the Giants. Great as a defensive back and great as a wide receiver. That's what they need. And then you can get yourself a quarterback either in the 2nd or 3rd round, or even if you wait till the 3rd day of the draft. But this is a decent move. As a Giant fan, I'm kind of happy. Now, the Aaron Rodgers thing, I wasn't all too keen on that because Aaron Rodgers is a diva. And I think Aaron Rodgers has, Aaron Rodgers' diva way has really kind of cost him because Minnesota doesn't want to touch him right now. And Pittsburgh is kind of shying away, saying, I don't know about this. So Aaron Rodgers may find himself without a place to play, or I don't think he will because somebody will come a-calling, especially if injuries start to pile up. But I'm happy with what the Giants have done. I hope they let Russell cook. I hope the Giants can win some games. And I'm not saying the Giants have to have a comeback season and make the playoffs, but I think they've got to take a step towards respectability. And that's what I'm looking forward to this year. And that is Tripp's Take for March 27th, 2025. I'd love to hear your comments and questions about my podcast, not about my voice. You can email me at trippstake@gmail.com. And I got to watch myself from laughing because my ribs hurt, because that's one of the problems. I'm coughing so much from the flu. If you love fantasy football, the draft is in a month. Well, the Hall of Famer Mike Sheck and yours truly, Tripp Rogers, be back with another edition of the Fantasy Sultans podcast. We'll do our NFL off-season NFL draft preview special. That'll be coming up in the next couple of weeks. You can find that the same places you find Tripp's Take, on Spotify for creators and on YouTube. Just search for Fantasy Sultans. If you like the music of the 60s, 70s, and 80s, you can listen to Tripp's. You can listen to WTRSradio.com, and you can find it on Live365.com. Yeah, the mind just goes when you're not feeling well. Join me again next week for another edition of Tripp's Take. For now, I'm Tripp Rogers. Thank you for joining me. Make it a great one.